Welcome back to the channel, boys. Today we're digging up some absolute fossils. Clash Royale decks that went extinct so hard you'd think they got hit by the same meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs. These decks used to dominate the game. They weren't just good, they were everywhere. You'd queue into a match and instantly know what was coming because the entire ladder was just clones of the same 3 decks. And now, you'll go 3 years without seeing them once. So let's talk about why these things died, why they disappeared, and why bringing them back today is basically the Clash Royale equivalent of trying to fight a modern army with a wooden stick. Let's start off with the legendary Golem Witch deck. This thing used to be the definition of, I don't want to think, I just want trophies. You'd slap a golem in the back like you're clocking in for work, drop a witch behind it, watch your opponent's tower get deleted. It was the most straightforward win condition in the world. No strategy, no mechanics, just a giant meatball and a lady who summons disposable workers. But the game changed. And when I say changed, I mean the entire meta started moving 100 miles an hour while Golem was still walking like he's stuck in molasses. The moment faster cycle decks started becoming the norm, this thing immediately began aging like milk. Cards got cheaper, decks got quicker, and the average Clash Royale match speed went from normal to crackhead mode. Meanwhile, Golem is still standing there thinking about his life decisions. The real extinction event though came when counters started piling up. Inferno Tower, Inferno Dragon, Tesla, Phoenix, Evolutions. Every card in the game nowadays has some form of bonus damage, melting, resetting, burning, exploding, and all of that deletes the Golem instantly. The deck is too slow, too expensive, too predictable, and gets countered by literally everything modern players have. That's why the Golem Witch deck didn't just die, it got obliterated. Next is the Double Prince deck. The Prince and Dark Prince combo. Back in the ancient days of Clash Royale, this was pure terror. You'd see those 2 horses coming down the lane and your soul would leave your body. There was no time to think, no time to react. They just ran straight through everything. It was one of the strongest bridge pressure combos in the entire game because of how quickly it punished you. But as the game evolved, this deck aged like a carton of yogurt left in the sun. The biggest problem is that Double Prince costs way too much elixir to get value out of. Dropping both princes at once is like swiping your whole bank account at checkout. If your push works, sure, you feel like a king. But if your opponent has literally any form of swarm, skeleton army, guards, evolved archers, goblins, your 9 elixir masterpiece instantly turns into a very expensive funeral. And the worst part? The deck has 0 air defense. None. A single baby dragon floating by can just hover over your entire push like, hey guys, and the whole thing collapses. In a game where Phoenix, minions, evolved archers, and Inferno Dragons dominate the skies, playing a deck with no air support is basically asking to lose. The deck is too expensive, too easy to counter, too predictable, and just not built for the modern, fast-paced, sweaty, elixir-efficient meta. That's why it vanished. Who else remembered the combo of Lava Hound and Baby Dragon? The slowest, most patient, most I hope my opponent doesn't know what they're doing deck ever created. This deck used to slap. You'd drop a Lava Hound in the back, sip some water, send a text, maybe do your taxes, and eventually your giant flying rock would get to the tower. Baby Dragon behind it, splash everywhere, and boom, free tower. This deck thrived when people didn't know how to counter air. Back then, everyone was running ground pushes, tank decks, and random mid-ladder experiments that didn't include any real anti-air. But the moment players learned how to defend, Lava Hound fell off the face of the earth. Nowadays, every deck has air counters. Archers delete anything in the sky. Phoenix deletes anything in the sky. Inferno Dragon melts Lava Hound faster than an ice cube under a flamethrower. Even random cards like Musketeer, Ice Wizard, Flying Machine, all of them dumpster Lava Hound with ease, and the deck is painfully slow. You place your Lava Hound, and while it's flying across the map at the speed of a depressed snail, your opponent already built an entire counter push, cycled back to more anti-air, defended your entire push, and then punished your other lane because you spent all your elixir praying your Lava Hound would do something. The deck also has the biggest flaw ever. It relies on your opponent making mistakes. If your opponent knows how to defend, goodbye, you lose. There's no backup plan. Lava Hound isn't flexible. If it doesn't get value, the whole deck collapses instantly. Next up is the legendary 3 Musketeers plus heal deck, a deck so toxic it was basically a war crime. Back then, you'd drop 3M in the back, your opponent would fireball them like their life depended on it, and boom, heal spell hits and the Musketeers come back to full HP like they just respawned in Minecraft. It was disgusting. It was beautiful. It made people quit the game, but then Supercell woke up one morning and said, yeah, this card is actually ruining society, and they literally deleted the heal spell from the game. Not nerfed, not reworked, just gone. And without heal, the entire deck collapsed instantly. 3 Musketeers suddenly couldn't survive any spell. Fireball deletes them, Poison deletes them, even a Stiff Breeze deletes them. And to make it worse, Elixir Collector got nerfed so hard it became a decorative building. Now the deck is so extinct you could show it to a new player and they'd think it was fan-made. What used to be the most terrifying split push deck in the game is now nothing but a fossil. And finally, we got to talk about Lava Clone, the deck that used to turn your screen into a lagging explosion simulator. You'd drop a Lava Hound, everything looked normal, and then the moment it popped, boom, clone hits, and suddenly your tower is getting attacked by 46 lava pups, 12 flame particles, and the spirit of your phone battery begging for mercy. If you didn't have arrows, fireball, zap, and a literal air defense system, you were done. But now, this deck is extinct, fully dead, zero population. Why? Because everything in the game has splash damage now. Firecracker, Baby Dragon, Snowball, Phoenix, Executioner, even your grandmother could wipe a cloned push by accident. Clone doesn't scare anyone anymore. Lava Hound is weaker, the meta is faster, and every modern deck runs 8 ways to delete air swarms instantly. Trying Lava Clone today is like trying to rob a bank with a water gun. It used to be terrifying, now it's just sad. A once great cheese deck, now a crispy pile of extinct barbecue. And that, boys, girls, and tilted Clash players, is the story of some of the most extinct decks in Clash Royale history. Decks that used to terrorize the ladder, now reduced to fossils, memes, and remember when moments. Some died from nerfs, some died from the meta, and some died because Supercell straight up unplugged their life support. But hey, that's the beauty of Clash Royale. The game evolves, the decks change, and the stuff we used to rage about becomes ancient history. If you enjoyed me suffering through these prehistoric disasters, make sure you smash the like button, drop a comment, and subscribe so we can torture ourselves with even more dead decks next time. Thanks for watching, stay hydrated, don't tilt, and I'll see you in the next one.